Hello and welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host, Shivangi Mishra. Let's begin with the headlines first. India boosts renewable energy with grassroots and state-led solar projects. Hindu minorities in Bangladesh faces growing violence. And POGB locals in dark despite Hainsel Hydro project demand promised jobs. Let's begin the show. India is actively addressing climate change by advancing green energy solutions. The country focuses on expanding its solar energy capacity through large-scale solar farms, rooftop installations, and new technologies. These efforts aim to reduce dependence on fossil fuels and transition towards sustainable energy sources. We have a report.
Gujarat, a western Indian state known for its abundant sunlight, has leveraged this resource to power thousands of homes and businesses. In 2019, the state launched the Solar Energy Rooftop Scheme Gujarat to promote renewable energy and reduce carbon emissions. Under the scheme, residents can save on power bills and earn money by selling surplus electricity generated from rooftop solar panels. The system offsets the electricity generated with the household's consumption. Residential consumers can access central financial assistance through the national portal for rooftop solar.
1 किलोवाट के लिए 30,000 रुपया, 2 किलोवाट के लिए 60,000 और उससे ऊपर 78,000 रुपया की सब्सिडी भारत सरकार द्वारा पोर्टल के द्वारा डीबीटी के द्वारा सीधे बेनिफिशियरीज को दी जाती है। और ये बहुत ही अट्रैक्टिव स्कीम है। रिसेंटली माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो नई स्कीम अनाउंस की, जिसके तहत 1 करोड़ घरों पर सोलर रूफटॉप लगाने का लक्ष्यांक है।
Under its renewable energy policy, the government of Gujarat aims to cover ground-mounted solar, rooftop solar, floating solar, canal-top solar, wind, rooftop wind, and wind solar hybrid projects. The policy targets achieving 50% of its renewable energy capacity by 2030 with anticipated investments of $60 billion. This initiative has boosted solar panel manufacturers who are optimistic about the market trends in the renewable energy sector.
इसके लिए सबसे बड़ा श्रेय गवर्नमेंट को जाता है, क्योंकि इनिशिएटिव गवर्नमेंट ने पहले लिया था। तो सब्सिडी का प्रमोशनल ऑफ़र करके गवर्नमेंट ने इंसेंटिव दिया, तो लोगों में अवेयरनेस आई। गुजरात जो है ना, वो एक व्यापारी स्टेट है। यहाँ पे सब लोगों के खून में व्यापार है। तो उस हिसाब से देखने जाए तो ये सोलर सिस्टम का लाइफ है 25 साल का। 25 साल में उसको अगर सिस्टम में अभी पैसे लगाने से 3 साल में उसको ROI मिल रहा है, तो वो सबसे पहले सोचेगा। तो उसके हिसाब से यहाँ पे इनिशिएटिव लोगों ने लेना ज़्यादा किया।
Promoting green energy is a key objective for every state in India. States across the nation are making significant efforts to contribute to environmental protection. In Haryana, located in northern India, various initiatives have been undertaken to promote green energy, particularly in rural areas. Haryana, a state where 80% of the land is used for cultivation, has a significant consumption of electricity. A large number of farmers use water pumps with diesel engines to irrigate their farms. Now, the government is promoting renewable energy and encouraging farmers to adopt solar energy as an alternative source to save money and protect the environment. Vasudev, a farmer in the Rohtak district of Haryana, has installed a solar plant on his farm under the government scheme. He is not only saving money but also contributing to saving oil and protecting the environment.
खेती में मैंने देखा कि भी जो भी पहले इंजन से हम ट्यूबवेल चलाते थे, तो ट्यूबवेल में बहुत ज़्यादा खर्चा बैठता था। इंजन घंटे में 1 लीटर तेल खाता था। लगभग उससे जो है ना, मतलब दिन भर में 1,000-1,200 रुपये का खर्चा डेली का होता था। जब से सोलर पैनल सरकार ने दिया है, तो किसान के बड़े अच्छी आमदनी बनी है, अच्छा खर्चा घटा है उसका, बहुत ही बढ़िया रहा है।
India is making significant strides in adopting renewable energy with grassroots initiatives aiming for 500 gigawatt of renewable capacity by 2030. Key efforts include expanding solar and wind power, promoting electric vehicles, and enhancing energy storage solutions. These measures align with India's commitment to reducing carbon emissions and increasing energy security.
In Bangladesh, a protest against the controversial government job quota system has spiraled into widespread violence, severely impacting the Hindu minority. Amid escalating chaos, Hindu community has faced brutal attacks, looting and destruction of property. Thousands have taken to the streets of Dhaka demanding protection as violence spreads across 45 districts. Despite assurances from the interim government, many Hindus no longer feel safe in their homeland, with dozens injured in the unrest. A report.
In Bangladesh, what began as a protest against the controversial quota system for government jobs has escalated into widespread violence and chaos. The minority Hindu community has found itself at the center of this unrest, facing severe attacks, looting, and destruction of property. Recently, the streets of Dhaka were flooded with thousands of Hindu demonstrators voicing their anger and fear after a series of coordinated attacks on their community across Bangladesh. Holding placards and displaying photographs of vandalized homes and temples, the protesters demanded action and protection. Despite repeated assurances from the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus, many Hindus in Bangladesh say they no longer feel safe. The violence has spread across 45 of Bangladesh's 64 districts, with Hindu homes, businesses and places of worship being systematically targeted. Dozens of Bangladeshi Hindus were injured in these brutal attacks.
हम लोग शुरू से 1971 के बाद जब भी कोई सरकार गिरती है बा चेंज होता है, सबसे पहले हमारे ऊपर ही आक्रमण होता है। हम ही सब रोषरन का हिस्सा है। सकल राजनीतिक जो दल है सब हमारे ऊपर रोष है। हम तो यहाँ संघ का लोग है, आप लोग जानते हैं, हम माइनॉरिटीज है। हमारे ऊपर ये आक्रमण का तो हम नहीं समझ पाते जो हमारे साथ ये सब क्यों होता है। सब कहते हैं कि हम आपके साथ है, हम आपके साथ है, लेकिन आज तक किसी भी कोई भी क्राइम का विचार नहीं हुआ। अभी तक हम किसी भी क्राइम का, मंदिर जलता है, गिरजा जलता है, हिंदू माइनॉरिटीদের जो दुकान पाट है, बाड़ीघर है, यहाँ तक कि लड़की को भी अगवा कर लेता है, लेकिन इन सब का कोई सुराहा नहीं होता।
The situation has grown increasingly dire, with reports of Hindu temples being vandalized and at least 2 Hindu leaders from Sheikh Hasina's Awami League party being killed. In a desperate attempt to escape the violence, nearly 800 Bangladeshi Hindus tried to cross the border into India last week. However, India's border security force turned them back, closely monitoring the escalating situation. The unrest has sparked international concern, with the global Hindu community rallying in support. Demonstrations have been held across the United States, United Kingdom, Canada and India, demanding immediate intervention and an end to the persecution.
I'm here today in front of White House to ask our elected officials, Foreign Relations Committee, to ask the interim government President Dr. Yunus to immediately stop or bring justice to all the minorities. We need protection, we need immediate protection, we need safety for all the religious minorities, not only Hindus. Hindus are targeted, driven out of their homes for a long time. This is not the first time. It's almost enough time to say, after 1975 years, when Jinnah said he cannot live with Hindus, I would like to say now, we cannot live with Muslim anymore. We need something else. We need a solution.
We are gathered here because in Bangladesh, for last couple of 5-6 days, people are torturing, burning our houses. Hindus, Christians, minorities' houses are burned. Our brothers have been killed. Our mothers have been killed. They are looting our houses. They are burning our houses, our churches, our temples. We want justice for Bangladesh. We are citizens of Bangladesh and we want to stay in Bangladesh. They cannot take, this Islam is the fundamentalist, they cannot take our country and they cannot deport us from Bangladesh. We want justice as a Bangladesh, we want to stay in our country as a safe manner, we want peace and we want to stay. They need to stop the violence against the minorities in Hindus.
Hindus constitute about 8% of Muslim majority Bangladesh's 170 million people and have historically largely supported Hasina's Awami League Party, which identifies as largely secular. However, the recent wave of anarchy, looting and targeted attacks has shaken the community to its core. Recent reports from the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council and Bangladesh Puja Ujjapan Parishad highlight a disturbing rise in violence against minorities, with over 205 incidents reported across 52 districts. The caretaker government led by Muhammad Yunus is under increasing pressure to recognize and address this crisis as a critical human rights issue. Failure to act decisively could result in the further marginalization of Bangladesh's Hindu population, threatening the nation's diversity and its identity as a secular state.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
As the day drives to its end in Najaf, newspaper seller Fadl Ali returns home disappointed. The bag of papers which he carries around the town of Kupa is still full. With the news industry heavily relying on digital content and technology available to the masses in all corners of the world, sellers whose income depends entirely on printed press face great difficulties and are forced to turn to different means of revenue. In the southern Iraqi province of Najaf, Ali explained just a few years ago some 250 people made a living selling newspapers in the streets. Today, he said, only 3 people, including him, still hold on to the profession but struggle to meet ends needs. The sharp decline of printed press is obvious to sellers, printing houses and consumers alike. Immediacy is the most desirable aspect of modern news, bookstore owner Nawar Mohi said, with the possibility of news being updated within minutes in all parts of the world, killing the need to wait until the publication of a paper the next morning. In a report titled Journalism, Media and Technology Trends and Predictions 2024, the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism prospects 2024 to be another difficult year for the news industry, seeing an even bigger shift towards digital production on one side and consumptions on the other. But as the digital age rushes into AI and fear for false information spread on social media, some people still look at printing press as a soul-nurturing tool. Villagers and local forest officials in India's southern Tamil Nadu state marked World Elephant Day this week by offering a fruity feast to a parade of elephants in the region. A priest performed special prayers for the well-being of the jumbos as they stood caparisoned with colourful garlands. Revered as a religious symbol, elephants are an important part of India's culture and are often seen during festivals and processions in the south of the country. Celebrated annually on August 12, World Elephant Day celebrations across the globe aim to promote the conservation of the giants. Typhoon Maria made landfall in Japan this week, prompting officials to issue the highest level 5 emergency warning to thousands in northeastern Japan. Trees were fallen on the roads of Ofunato in Iwate Prefecture as community centers in Kesenuma of the neighboring Miyagi Prefecture were set up as evacuation centers. Kuji city in Iwate Prefecture issued the highest warning to 8,300 residents after officials decided to have an emergency water release at the city's Stag Dam, according to public broadcasters NHK. The typhoon has brought a record 471 mm of rain in 48 hours up until the morning of August 12 in Kuji city, the most since record keeping began by the Japan Meteorological Agency, according to NHK. Weather officials have called on locals to stay vigilant for mudslides, flooding, strong winds, and high waves.
Moving on, in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan, the residents of Hainzal are facing severe power outages despite living near the Hainzal hydropower project. Though the project was approved and funded, work remains stalled and authorities are now focusing on a new 40-megawatt project, leaving the original 20-megawatt initiative incomplete. To add to their frustration, promised jobs for locals have been largely given to outsiders, intensifying the unrest in the region. The situation highlights growing dissatisfaction and neglect in Hainzal. We have this report.
Residents of Hainzal in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan are up in arms over severe power outages, despite living in the shadow of the Hainzal hydropower project. While the project has been approved and funds allocated, work remains stalled. Instead, authorities are focusing on a new 40 megawatts project without completing the already approved 20 megawatts initiative. A local said adding to their woes is the unfulfilled promise of jobs. While the government had assured employment opportunities for Hainzal residents, most positions have been filled by outsiders.
अब ये है कि इन्होंने अप्रूव होके 20 मेगावाट तो हो गया, टेंडर भी हो गया, इन्होंने एडवांस पैसे भी लिए हैं, मोबिलाइजेशन एडवांस भी लिए हैं। भाई आप काम शुरू करें भाई, 20 मेगावाट का 40 मेगावाट आप बाद में बनाएं।
हमारे जवान तबका जो है उनके साथ ये एग्रीमेंट हुआ था कि बेसिक जो चीज़ें हैं कि नौकरियां देंगे आपको, जो मुलाजमतें हैं और 1 से 11 स्केल तक, और पहले जो है यहाँ के हिंदल लोकल जो लोग हैं उनको दी जाएंगी। बाद में जब ये पीढ़ी चेंज हो गए तब से हमारे साथ कोई इनका वो राबिता नहीं रहा है, और जो लोग यहाँ पे लगे हुए हैं वो सारे बाहर के हैं, हिंदल का कोई नहीं है। 1 से 2 बंदे उस वक्त जब पहले एग्रीमेंट हुआ था 2 से 3 बंदे हमारे लगे थे, उसके बाद अभी तक कोई नौकरी हमें नहीं दी गई है।
The residents warned protests if the situation does not improve. They demanded that the government and officials honor their commitments and start addressing the pressing issues of electricity shortage and local employment.
In the remote hilly regions of Kotranka subdivision, Rajouri district, Jammu and Kashmir, a transformative change is underway. Government initiatives like the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Jal Jeevan Mission and Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana are reaching the most isolated communities. These efforts have significantly improved living standards, providing secure housing, clean water and better roads. The region is now experiencing unprecedented development, bringing hope and prosperity to its residents. Take a look.
In the remote hill areas of the Kotranka subdivision in Rajouri district, Jammu and Kashmir, a remarkable transformation is taking place. For the first time, basic facilities and government schemes are reaching the doorsteps of residents in the most isolated parts of Rajouri. Initiatives such as the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, Jal Jeevan Mission and several others have significantly improved the lives of the people.
पीएमजी के स्कीम से हमें ये मकान मिला। इससे पहले हमें बहुत दिक्कत थी। ये मेरे चाचू का मकान है, उनकी डेथ हो गई 2011 में। तो उसके बाद बहुत ही दिक्कत थी, परेशानी थी। घर में पानी आता था पीछे से और रात रहने का बहुत खतरा हो जाता जब बारिशों का मौसम होता था। तो उसके बाद फिर हमने पीएमजी स्कीम के ज़रिए से ये मकान मिला हमें। तो पेमेंट हमारी बिल्कुल हो चुकी थी। तो मैं बहुत शुक्रिया करता हूँ महकमे वालों का और गवर्नमेंट का भी, जिन्होंने हमें रहने के लिए ये मकान दिया। कुछ मेहनत हमने की, कुछ उन्होंने दिया, तो हमारा ये मकान बन गया। अब छत हमारा खड़ा हो गया, अब कोई दिक्कत नहीं रहने में।
Through the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, residents now have secure and comfortable housing, equipped with electricity, water supply and other basic amenities, allowing them to lead a more holistic life. Government officials are actively engaging with the community to ensure that everyone is aware of these schemes and can maximize their benefits.
जितनी भी गवर्नमेंट की स्कीमें हैं, चाहे वो PMAY हो, आवास प्लस हो, MJ नरेगा हो, PM किसान हो, जितनी भी स्कीमें हैं वो हम कोशिश करते हैं कि हर गरीब आवाम के उस बंदे तक भी पहुंचाएं कि जिस तक आज तक कोई भी स्कीम नहीं पहुंच पाई। हम कोशिश करते हैं कि उनको भी उस चीज़ का लाभ मिलना चाहिए और मिल भी रहा। हम इन लोगों के साथ इस तरह जुड़े हुए हैं कि हमें एक एक बंदे की घर की सिचुएशन का पता है कि कौन बंदा गरीब है, उसको किस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है। ये जितने भी मेंबर साहिबान हैं, लोग हैं, इन्होंने पूरा कॉपरेट करके लोगों के घर तक, उस गरीब बंदे के घर तक हमें पहुंचाया है कि जो कभी भी गवर्नमेंट की किसी स्कीम का फ़ायदा आज तक नहीं ले पाया, उसको भी बेनिफिट मिला है।
Under the Jal Jeevan Mission, residents now have access to clean and safe drinking water at their homes, as well as an adequate water supply for their farms. Water storage tanks and piping systems have been installed across the hilly region, ensuring a contamination-free and efficient water infrastructure.
जल जीवन मिशन के तहत हमारी 73 स्कीम्स जो हैं वो चल रही हैं इस पूरे इलाका में, और इसके अलावा 8 डगवेल हैं और 3 फिल्ट्रेशन प्लांट हैं। काम तेज़ी से चल रहा है, अलबत्ता बीच में थोड़ी बहुत ही रुकावटें भी आई। ये JJM की स्कीमें जब कंप्लीट होगी तो अगले 20 साल 30 साल तक लोगों को पानी की दिक्कत नहीं रहेगी। उसके बाद जब आबादी बढ़ गई और वो क्रिएट हो गया तो फिर कोई नई सिलसिला, नई स्कीमें गवर्नमेंट की जो भी होगा सो होगा। फिलहाल 20-30 साल के लिए ये प्रॉब्लम्स पानी की जो है लोगों की ख़त्म हो जाएगी।
New roads have also been constructed under the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, improving connectivity and making travel easier and safer for the residents. Education and other essential services are seeing significant advancements, contributing to the overall development of the region. The people of Kotranka subdivision are witnessing a new dawn of progress and prosperity. The government's commitment of reaching the remotest corners of the Union Territory has truly brought a wave of development to these regions.
Now it's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We'll be back next week at the same time. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.